Hi there, this is my solution for assignment 2, Breakout, the Powerup update. So in the main Lua, I added a new element called Powerups to the G-frames. Powerups equals to generate quads powerups and pass in the main element from the G textures, which is the image of the breakout.png. And in the util Lua, I created a function called generate quads powerups. It creates a table that contains all the 10 power-up icons in there. And the x is 0 and y is 16 times 12, which is 192. And I also added the generate quads bricks to contain the locked brick pattern in the original bricks table. And then in the brick class, I added a new value called the locked and initialized it to be false so that there will be a chance the brick is locked. And in the brick hit function, if the locked value is true, then nothing will happen. The color of the brick won't change, and in the render function, if the locked value is true, it will render the locked brick pattern, and if not, it will render the normal brick patterns. And to determine which of the bricks are locked, in the levelmaker.lua, I added an if math.random equals to 5, then b.locked equals true, so that there will be a 1/5 chance for the brick to be locked. The next is the pedal class. In order to make the pedal shrink and grow based on the health, I added two functions, the shrink and grow function. And in the grow function, I'm setting the size to be one size greater, and if the size is already 4, which is the maximum size, it will remain to be size 4. And the actual width of the pedal will be 32 times the size of the pedal. And the same logic is for the shrink function. And also for the grow function, if the pedal width grows too large that exceeds the screen, it should also update the X position of the pedal to make it show on the screen. Then to make the Powerup update, I created a new class called the Powerup. In the init function, I set the XY position to 0, the velocity in Y direction is 20, and the height and width of the Powerup is 16. The default skin is set to 9, and the display and the in-play is initially set to false. And in the spawn function, it takes two parameters, the x and y position of the brick. There is a 1/2 chance to spawn a new power-up to the screen, and the x is set to x minus self-width divided by 2 to make it look like the power-up is spawned in the middle of the brick. And the skin of the power-up will either be 9 or 10, and the in-play will be set to true. In the hit function, the in-play will be set to false. In the collide function, it's the AABB collision detection. And in the update function, it will render the power-up based on which skin it gets. And in order to use the Powerup class, I required it in the dependency class. And last but not least is to update the playset class. Here I changed self.ball to a table called self.balls with the ball initialized in there. Then I said Powerup equals to a new Powerup class, has key equals to false, and initialize the position of the first ball in table. Then in the Powerup function, we need to update the movement of the Powerup and loop around the balls table to update each ball's position. Then if the Powerup is in play and the pedal catches it, it will perform the hit function in the Powerup class. Bonus score will be added to the score, and if the skin is 10, which means the Powerup is a key Powerup, the hash key will be set to true. Else, the Powerup will be a ball Powerup, so it will generate 2 new balls and added them to the balls table. And for each brick on the screen, if the brick is in play and ball collides with the brick, and if the brick is locked and has key, the locked of the brick will be changed to false, has key will now be changed to false, and bonus score will be added to the score. And if the brick is not locked, it will just perform the normal score update. And if the ball falls below the screen and if the number of the balls is greater than 1, the ball will be removed from the balls table and the health won't be affected. Else, when there's only 1 ball on the screen, we need to change the hash key to false and then deduct 1 health and shrink the pedal. Lastly, we need to render the pedal, the Powerup, the balls, and everything else in the render function. And that's all. I've added the code to make the Powerup update. I'm now going to play the game to see if everything is functioning well.